The Fenway neighborhood in Boston is more than just the home of the Red Sox. It's a vibrant community with a rich history, a neighborhood that has faced major transformations and continued to face significant challenges in preserving its character and affordability. This semester, our Capstone team partnered with the Fenway Community Development Corporation, also known as the FenwayCDC, in their pursuit to preserve affordable housing in the Fenway neighborhood. Since 1973, FenwayCDC has been at the forefront of the fight for affordable housing. Born out of community resistance to urban renewal, they've grown into a dynamic organization. FenwayCDC's mission is to preserve Fenway as a vibrant and diverse neighborhood by developing affordable housing, providing programs that enrich lives, and strengthening community voices. Today, they support residents not just through housing initiatives, but also with community events, food access programs, language classes, and career counseling. But with increasing gentrification pressures and Fenway's proximity to rapidly growing university campuses, preserving affordability remains a tough challenge. Their strategies to preserve affordable housing in the area and prevent displacement include owning and operating affordable properties in a neighborhood, developing new ones, and tenant organizing.
When FenwayCDC reached out to the Capstone team, some of the key challenges they faced were identifying areas with high displacement risk, identifying the properties available for purchase, and knowing where to focus their tenant organizing efforts. So far, they've relied on word of mouth and some existing connections with the neighboring campuses, but that means that they can't keep up with brokers and developers who are aggressively seeking out new property to develop in Fenway. That's where our project comes in. Initially, our Capstone team worked with the FenwayCDC to identify long-term tenants at risk of displacement and where they lived. We looked at similar studies and discussed some potential indicators. But we quickly realized that the public data sets we wanted to use did not have the data we needed. We would have needed residents' data at the property level, but all we had was data at the census block group or census tract level. Additionally, we spoke with the Mayor's Office of Housing, who shared that they will be publishing an updated displacement risk map of the whole city in the next few months. Along the way, we also received advice from a seasoned developer and asset manager who gave us insight into how brokers identify properties that can be purchased. In the end, we were able to find the average rent of a unit and building characteristics, like the year that it was built, the time of the last transaction, and major renovations. We used this as a proxy to understand how likely a building will be bought out by investors and therefore displacement risk. Since the City of Boston also requires universities to submit where their students reside, we used the student data set to find out how many students live in a particular building. For the final deliverable, we are developing tools to help FenwayCDC make data-driven decisions. This includes an interactive map of the neighborhood, a data set of the properties, and a set of recommendations for their next steps. Our interactive map allows FenwayCDC to explore residential properties with critical data points like rent estimates, sale history, recent renovations, and more. The interactive map also illustrates the concentration of students in each property. We'll talk more in detail about how the map and spreadsheets is used in the next sections. In the end, we selected 6 variables to help FenwayCDC determine properties for purchase and for tenant organizing. 1. Land use. For their purposes, FenwayCDC would focus primarily on residential buildings. Unfortunately, many mixed-use buildings do not identify the different uses. 2. The number of students. We could not consistently identify the proportion of students in each property due to limitations in the dataset. As a result, we provided a separate layer showing the number of students. FenwayCDC can integrate this data with their contextual knowledge of the properties and neighborhood to derive meaningful insights. 3. Rent price. We used the average rent price per unit to identify naturally occurring affordable housing. 4. Year built. This can help inform the type of use a building may have, depending on if it is pre-war, mid-century, or recent construction. 5. Major renovation. These two variables go hand in hand. Properties that have not had major renovations in the last decade are likely to be targets for developers who want to make a value add in areas where the market is growing, like Fenway. 6. Time of last transaction. In particular, multifamily properties that haven't had a transaction in the last 7 to 10 years could be vulnerable to investor purchase. Their shorter loan periods of around 5 to 10 years means that they have a faster turnover time than regular homes.
As we finalize the map and data, we're excited to see how these tools can inform FenwayCDC's efforts to protect the neighborhood's affordability and diversity. Together, we're working towards a Fenway where everyone can thrive.
And this is just the beginning. With tools like these, organizations like FenwayCDC can stay ahead of the curve and keep communities like Fenway accessible to all.
Hi, I'm Jamie Culbertson, one of the community organizers with FenwayCDC, which stands for Fenway Community Development Corporation. Our mission is to preserve the Fenway as a vibrant and diverse neighborhood by developing affordable housing, providing programs that enrich lives, and strengthening community voices. And it's been an absolute pleasure working with the Northeastern Policy and Planning Capstone team. Our organizing team is focused primarily on housing and transit justice, as well as uplifting community voices and connecting people to opportunities to advocate for what they want to see in their neighborhood. And one of the new projects that we've been focusing on recently is having a greater focus on helping people who are facing housing insecurity stay in their homes. And so the Northeastern Capstone team has been making us a map that will help us think about the residents there are at high risk of being displaced by rising costs. So we're really excited to be using this map to help inform the outreach that we do around connecting people to tenant organizing opportunities, other ways of advocating for themselves and staying in their homes, resources that can help them avoid eviction, and also to help inform our real estate work where we develop affordable housing in order to provide opportunities for lower income folks to stay in their neighborhood.